Hearts and Bullets, The Woman in the Book Cover, an online romance novel written by Sharon Rose.
Chapter 3. Maxim couldn't explain how he felt. He was cold, scared, nervous but excited at the same time. Man, this would be the first that he would have a panic and anxiety attack. For what? For just a mere woman. He'd been on the brink of death many times. He had been forcibly conscripted when his country was embroiled in a bloody war, a sob story about brother Slavs killing each other 4 years ago. He'd spent 6 agonizing months in a merciless meat grinder that claimed more than 500,000 lives. While in the battlefield, once a landmine almost blew him to pieces, or that moment when the enemy's gun was pointed behind his head. But he'd never felt like this. This was fucking insane. He shook his head at the thought. Man, calm down. He softly murmured and took a very long, deep breath. He drove for 2 hours to get to the Strand bookstore in New York City to attend Helena McAllister's book signing event. The Strand bookstore was one of the most famous bookstores in New York City. Just steps away from New York City's famed Union Square, it was a huge bookstore that housed over 18 miles of books ranging from new to rare titles, and everything in between. Helena McAllister, having a book signing in the renowned Strand bookstore, said a lot about her popularity. She was surely a high-caliber author who earned her space in the halls of the acclaimed Strand bookstore. After finding a space to park, he snatched the mysterious book from the dashboard and stepped out of his car. He shut the door and automatically locked his Tesla. He walked to the bookstore with a smile on his face. He was done reading the book and he couldn't help but giggle at the familiar scenes. He was a man, all right, but he blushed at some very steamy pages. Heck, the passionate lovemakings were spot on. Every little detail was there, even the very intimate parts he would never forget all his life. The smile on his face was replaced by a groan when he felt his groin ache. Bliat, but he would be attending a book signing, and it would be embarrassing to sport a hard-on. But he couldn't help it. Just a memory of her made his hormones run amok. It was as if he had no control over them. He sighed deeply, shaking his head. He noticed a lot of people when he got into the Strand bookstore. The place was fully packed, and he saw a group of people queuing up. The line was so long that it went into a hallway to a conference room that he could barely see. "Excuse me, is this the line for the book signing?" he asked the 2 ladies who were at the end of the queue. They looked at him and were a little confused. Well, he was the only man among the long line of women and young girls who were holding a copy of Helena's book in their hands. "Is this the line for Helena McAllister's book signing?" he asked again and flashed her book to them. "You read romance novels?" the 2 ladies asked in unison, disbelief in their voices. They looked at him from head to foot as if they couldn't believe a man like him read romance novels. He shrugged his broad shoulders as he shifted his weight on his right leg. His solid 6-foot frame stood out among the crowd of mostly women, Helena's avid readers. "Yup, I do. In fact, I'm here to have my book signed by my favorite author." He showed his book to them again. "Aw, that's sweet. You rarely find macho men reading romance novels these days," the blonde commented with amusement in her eyes. "But yes, this is the line for Helena McAllister's book signing." "Great, thanks." He smiled at them and gladly joined the queue. In his peripheral vision, he saw the two ladies whisper in each other's ears. He pretended not to notice. His eyes were focused on the door of the conference room, that he could barely see from his direction. He looked calm and composed on the outside, but deep inside, he was almost freaking out. In fact, he was starting to sweat out, which was funny because the venue had efficient air conditioning. It was summer outside, all right, but he was inside the Strand bookstore, and the air conditioning was in full blast. And as the line moved and as he got closer to the conference room, his heartbeat was doubling down in speed. "Take it easy, man," he murmured as he tried to calm himself down. But it was too difficult to still his raging heart when every pore in his body was longing to finally see the woman he had been missing like hell for the last 5 years.
Please like and subscribe for more stories.